Welcome back to another pro-casted game featuring David Kim playing as the Delhi Sultanate. He is currently ranked 46 on the ladder, and he is up against his opponent Wham01, who is playing as the Chinese, and he is currently ranked 24 on the ladder. So this is a top 35 game, or whatever you want to call it. Or sorry, so David's 46. It's a top 50 game. It's good. It'll be high-level gameplay. We see Wham going straight for the wood, training the Imperial official, which costs 150 food, and immediately focusing on that wood gather rate, and he will be collecting that gold over time there to age up. He's also dropping down a mill there with his sheep on the mill that he's going to be eating. Now, meanwhile, David Kim playing as Delhi, known a little bit more for the early water gameplay. He is 4 on wood, and new villagers are going to food. So I do expect he'll be dropping down a dock. Now let's examine this. We've got 2 deep water fish, and over here we have 2 deep water fish. Honestly, this is an extremely rare thing. We do not see this on Nagari. Typically, like, one player will get 3 fish, the other will get 1 or 0, or one gets 2. This is an even spawn as far as the deep water fish are concerned, and that is just very rare on this map. Not a whole lot of shoreline fish. Granted, he probably deleted some there, but that might not matter. David Kim is going straight for the main water because he's not afraid. In the early game, Delhi are plenty strong on the water because their fishing boats are able to fight back. So there we go. David Kim on the main body of water. Plenty of deep water fish out there, of course. And new villagers going to food. Eventually, he will go for that gold. Now, the Delhi Sultanate, they're a civilization that likes to get their sacred sites later on in the game because they have a bonus. They get 200 gold per minute from sacred sites, and they can capture them earlier than the Castle Age if they get that tech in time. This map has 2 of them. They would need to effectively wall here. Now, you used to be able to wall because the forest used to be way more aggressive here in their spawn, and it was easier to wall. But now you can see it's a rather open corner of the map. So this is a lot harder to wall, at least compared to how this map used to spawn. Look on the right side, a little bit of an easier gap to... just to give you a little bit of backstory, there was once a time I played a spawn on this map where the forest spawned so densely that I literally couldn't fit my mangonels through the path. I could fit my infantry, but my mangonels wouldn't fit through. It spawned that densely. So that's how this map has kind of changed over time, and for the better, I would say. Wham dropping that barracks really far in the back, which only makes me think that he's trying to be sneaky with this thing, because like he could have dropped it here, he could have dropped it here. He has dropped this like way in the back of his base, so he's up to some sneaky business. Perhaps he's going to go try to contest. I don't know. Maybe this is just a defensive barracks, and you know what? That is exactly what it is. Look at this. While I've been busy talking about forests, we've got David Kim over here. He's been animation canceling these scouts. Oh, such a dirty technique. And look at that. This is the problem with the animation canceling. A scout, which is a unit that, let's read the description on it. A light armed cavalry effective at exploring the world, hunting wildlife, and herding sheep. Nowhere, in fact, it says very weak in combat on its description, but taking down half the health of a dock in a matter of seconds is not quite what I would describe as very weak. So unfortunately, that animation canceling has really changed how scouts are currently being used in the current meta. And I think Wham's barracks was a reaction to the fact that those scouts possibly were going to take down his only dock. But with those spearmen, they are more than enough to scare off those scouts for the time being. But David, he forced that reaction, so this is good for him. This slowed his opponent down. He had to make a barracks, and now we're looking at an age up. David Kim dropping down the Dome of Faith. Now, he has a lot of villagers on it. 5 villagers building the Dome of Faith. Now, this is a landmark that allows you to build those scholars at half the cost. Typically, they cost 150 gold, but with this, they cost 75 gold. It's a big thing for Delhi because Delhi Sultanate has this unique thing where all their technologies are free, but they take quite a bit of time. Like, look at this. It would take 4 minutes and 25 seconds to get these techs. But you build a mosque and garrison scholars inside of that, and it decreases that time. In general, we say that because there's some bugs around it right now. And your first mosque, by the way, which he is building, comes free with one scholar. First scholar free of charge. So there we go. That will be bumping these research rates down by a little bit. But meanwhile, David is booming on the water. He's got his scouts boxing out Wham scout. Wham invested in his the spearman. Now, typically against most civilizations, you say, well, you know what? He can use the spearman. He could come down and start pressuring this dock. But against Delhi, you can't. And why is that? That's because these fishing boats, you can see, have 7 ranged attack. And that's no good when you're a measly spearman coming up against these fishing boats. So he's not able to harass this. He's not really able to do much with this other than just, he did defend his dock for now. Okay, and we have scouts positioning. Now, at the professional level, it's very common for players to scout out their opponent. He's going to be trying to look at, you can scout the stone. You don't even have to necessarily see the mine. You can see the mining camp. You can see, that's going to have a total of 1,500 stone. If there's any missing, that means your opponent's going for a town center or perhaps some kind of stone walls or towers. We do see that Wham is dropping down in addition to this Barbican of the Sun, which is a defensive landmark. He's going for the stone, meaning he is going for an additional town center. And with China, they get that first dynasty. They're able to train villagers faster than the norm. They can really have a huge boom. 2 town centers plus faster villager training rate. That's going to make China very formidable as we get into the mid to late game, assuming that Delhi doesn't have anything magical in the mid game. But with Delhi opening with the water, it's unlikely he's going to have a ton of feudal age pressure. Typically, you'll see more of a fast castle kind of move, which you do see David Kim has been going for. I mean, he's already aging up and has 10 villagers on gold and nothing. Delhi doesn't have anything that costs gold in the second age with the exception of some scholars. So this means he's going straight for a fast castle. And with the help of his water, it's easy to pull off a fast castle. So it's kind of a trade-off. China's going to get off their dynasty. They're going to get that second town center. But we'll see. Well, I make assumptions. Maybe Wham won't go for the dynasty, but I think he will. We'll see. We'll see here. Don't want to get too ahead of way for ourselves. Okay, so David is most certainly going for the fast castle. You need 1,200 food and 600 gold. And look at that. He is macroed like flawlessly. 18 on food. That includes fishing boats. Plus 11 on gold. There we go. He has enough. And will he go with the compound defender? It's my favorite landmark. Let's see what he builds. Oh, no! David! Not like this! Oh, man. Now, this is where I will disagree with many of the pro players. Although I have seen some come to the light side lately. And go with the compound defender. Now, the House of Learning. It's a building that will allow you to get some early technologies, but they take so long to research. Now, they are, of course, in a long-term game, going to be beneficial. But when you're playing Delhi, it isn't typically your interest to play against super late game China because their siege is just so powerful and their late game economy is just so good. I mean, we see, look at that, 2 towns are going down. By the time, a lot of times I like to ask players, like, did you even finish researching a tech before that House of Learning completed researching its first technology? Did the game end? Thank you to Jackal coming in with the sub over on Twitch. I do appreciate that. But the landmark I choose to go with is the compound defender. It allows your infantry to build stone walls and stone wall towers, and not to mention the keeps also all get a discounted rate. So you can get 600 stone or get the stone wall towers. On a map like this, like Delhi, it is often a better goal to go for stonewalling these gaps up and going for a sacred site victory versus like actually pushing into what is usually a very defendable China base later on. Especially once they get that clock tower up, they can just pocket those siege units with villagers and hold on for a very long time. So we will see if it pays off, it's neither here or there. Now look at this. This is what I'm talking about. Yes, those techs come early. Houses, town centers get additional population. Big whoop. That's not a huge advantage. But look at this one. Hone Blaze, which is the best technology here, will take 22 minutes and 30 seconds currently with no Scholars Garrison to get that tech. 22 minutes! I mean, you could say, yes, that'll be a late game. Oh, can he kick this up? This will be big. Will he get this? Well, it's not a huge thing. He did grab that scout, but there you go. A nice little Wololo for him. But the biggest thing is, you know, well, most age 3 landmarks, when you think of China, the second they hit age 3, can train those siege units out of the clock tower, the astronomical clock tower. For Delhi, they're not getting, basically as of right now, he's had no bonus out of this other than he'll get some additional house population. Big whoop. But yes, late game men-at-arms will be very impactful. Now, these tower elephants are actually usually countered pretty effectively by horsemen, but you need some numbers. I mean, you got to consider that was only like, what, 4 horsemen? And they did a fair amount of damage to this tower elephant, considering that they cost 400 food and 600 gold versus, you know, these horsemen are rather cheap, 100 food, 20 gold, or 20 wood rather. But it does look like David Kim is making a conscious effort to grab the relics. Now, HRE get bonuses from relics, but for Delhi, nothing special. This will be 100 gold income per minute. Where the real gold comes from for Delhi is getting these. These are worth 200 gold per minute for the Delhi Sultanate. Assuming he has his sanctity in. Oh, he's still working on it. But he'll have that here in the next 2 minutes. Surprised he doesn't have that research already. I think he must have forgotten to queue it up, to be honest, at this point. We've got horsemen trying to raid. Let's look at the villager count. 49 for David Kim versus the 54 Wham. And, you know, I said that China might go for the dynasty, but you can see here, Wham did not go for the dynasty. He only went for a second town center and then the barbecue in his age up to age 2. He didn't even go for his dynasty. He went straight for the third age and is training these clock tower Springalds. And you can see he gets these, look, with the official currently focusing on it, supervising rather, he can train these in 10 seconds. I mean, it's just wild. Not only do these have more HP than the average siege unit, he's getting these 10 seconds. It is just absolutely wild, and he can pocket them with the villagers. In come these tower elephants. Now, Springalds used to do 60 damage versus these elephants, which honestly, I believe when they nerfed Springalds, they kind of effectively buffed elephants a little bit, because it used to be that Springalds were so powerful that everybody defaulted to them and they would just wipe out elephants doing, you know, 60 a pop times 3. That's, you know, 180 damage per volley. And now they're only doing 30 per shot, but that still is from range. That adds up. That's 90 damage they're going to do from range to this tower elephant. We'll see what happens here. Now, what is he? I'm wondering why he built the palisade walls here. And I think he did this purely to deny his opponent from building a dock opposite of his and trying to wipe out his water economy, and for some line of sight. So honestly, for David, very, very clever. I kind of love this play. And it looks like David's going for a full elephant. Look at that. We have, let's see if I can select all units here. We have 3 war elephants, which are trained from the stable, and 2 tower elephants. So he might be really trying to put everything he has into a elephant push. We do see a wolf attacking that scholar, but that sacred side will get completed. That'll be 200 gold income per minute, plus the, let's see what he got back home. 3 there. Look at that. So added up, that's 500 gold per minute. And in come these elephants. So David in a very commanding position early on. If you have the tower elephant emote, you know this is the time to throw it in the chat. Here come these elephants. But the best countered elephants are spearmen, which are rather cheap to create. And look at this. Wham has a pretty significant number of spearmen already. And as I mentioned, these Springalds will deal that damage from afar. And there goes down a tower elephant. Really didn't get a whole lot of value. We also have a clock tower nest of bees out on the field with, like, I mean, look, when the spearmen get up on those elephants, how quickly they melt. I mean, you've got to factor in the fact that a spearman costs 60 food and 20 wood. And, you know, these elephants, this costs 600 gold and 400 food. These cost 400 food and 600 gold. These are so expensive if you, like, put that same amount of, you know, economy into infantry. So these spearmen are really good at getting the job done against elephants. Now tower elephant's trying to escape, but you can see, oh my gosh, look at that. Spearman just wipes it out. And David really, I mean, it seemed like he was investing heavily into going for an elephant push, and sometimes it can work. But when your opponent is just making a sure amount of spears, I mean, he has 3 barracks right now just training nothing but spears. This is not going to get the job done. And hopefully David recognizes this soon. You cannot just make elephants blindly into spearmen. This will be a terrible trade. Like, yes, he's going to kill like these few spearmen, but in numbers, like these spearmen are just going to annihilate these elephants. Okay, look at the villager count. 71 for Wham versus the 64 of David Kim. Granted, you know, David Kim has a lot of deep water fish going on here. Of course, free text for Delhi coming in. A little bit of a skirmish up here. I don't know if the scout got trapped on the side of the wall. I think that's maybe what happened. Let's check out. Yes, we do have technologies coming in for David. He's built multiple barracks since they're or blacksmith since they're free. He just has those in queue. 2 scholars currently garrison. He will want to get maybe some more scholars garrison in order to boost these research rates at the moment. I don't think these elephants can do much. Yeah, he's in. I mean, this is a lot of economy invested in these elephants, and they are not currently doing a whole lot. And wow, this is a bold move for Delhi. He is going for the 4th age. And the reason why I say that is, you know, for Delhi, they have to invest a lot of resources to get to the 4th age, but they get no immediate bonus. It takes so long. Look at this. It will take 5 minutes, 7 minutes and 50 seconds to get these upgrades here in the 3rd age. So it is a bit of a risk to go age 3 with Delhi so early, but maybe David has a plan for it. 17 vills currently on the Palace of Sultan. This Palace of Sultan will be generating war elephants for free. So David going all in on the elephant gameplay up against a booming China. Let's see how this plays out. This is a bold move. China going for purely spearmen. He's got a few man-arms in the mix and siege, which is, you know, a pretty decent comp when you're countering elephants. But look at this. Wham. Did he just do it? I'm trying to look. Has he spent all his res? Yes, Wham has spent all his res on an army. So, you know, you would typically say for a lot of civilizations, they will like quickly pop their age 4 techs and hit you. But for Delhi, you know, he's going to pop his age 4 techs, and it ain't going to be a while. Look at this. 6 minutes and 46 seconds. That's with 3 scholars garrison till he actually gets any bonus. Oh, sorry, he has 4 scholars garrison. Till he gets any bonus from this age up right now. So this is basically like res that was spent, but he has no advantage from at the moment. Getting free 300 gold per minute plus the 200 gold per minute plus a 300 from here. So free 500 gold per minute. Let's look at the income per minute. You can see there. Look at the gold rates. Now this, mind you, this is with David only having 8 villagers on gold. So this is going to be a late game, and I don't know. I play a fair amount of Delhi, and I am very nervous to like actively try to make it a late game against the against China. And Wham is spending a lot of res on his siege units and spearmen. We'll have to see how this ends up panning out over time. Chad has asked, has Delhi been fixed? And what I'm sure you're referring to is the just plethora of bugs that currently exist for Delhi. No, Delhi still has a huge number of bugs. Their late game techs take longer than they're supposed to. They have like 30 plus bugs. I've made a Delhi bug tier list that you can check out on my YouTube channel. Go dig in and check that out. It's a very popular one. It's very kind of funny. It's funny and it's sad. Delhi has a lot of bugs, and I keep saying, you know, if they fix bugs for Delhi in this next patch, it could quite possibly put Delhi in the A or S tier, because a lot of times they're holding on despite having so many bugs. We'll have to see, you know, when that day comes, whenever it is, how Delhi looks. Now look at this. Wham positioning himself with plenty of siege units and spearmen. Currently still just on that water there in the back, but it's going to be running low on fish. Meanwhile, David has a huge boom. And look at that. Starting to stonewall his water off. Now, if he had gone up with the compound defender, he could be building these stone walls with his infantry. Let's check back in on the House of Learning. Still 6 minutes and 43 seconds left on Honed Blade. So I don't know. This will pay off in 6 minutes, but it's a matter of like, will the game last so long? Yes, it could, but we'll see. Okay, so currently working on powering out those technologies. It really looks like to me David is perfectly content sitting back, booming up, getting all those technologies in, and we'll have to see. Is that a strong move against China? Now, look at these technologies at the university. Biology will take almost 9 minutes to research. And we can laugh about it all you want, but when you're playing Delhi right now, you should throw down 2 or even 3 madrasas to get those out, because this is going to be 9 minutes to even starts this next tech, which will also take, look, 9 minutes. So it is typically in your interest to get multiple of those universities down, which you would never do with any other civilization. I mean, it makes sense, honestly. Delhi's techs are free. It could make sense to make 2 of these, but they're rather expensive building in general, right? 450 wood. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, we have, what is that? Is that 6 if I count right? 7 barracks. And that home blades, we talk smack, but it is going to get to the additional +3 here in the next 4 minutes. So this is going to come down to some late game battles. China's positioning himself. In China, they love going late game. They're fine with this. They are bred for this. Delhi, I'm not so sure, but David seems to really have the confidence with them at the moment. So we will see. Honestly, I'm surprised David hasn't gone for the second sacred site. This could be an additional 200 gold per minute, and he could easily contest this, I think, at the moment. We see Wham is still only in the 3rd age. Is he aging up anywhere? Not yet. He is still just going to be sticking things out here in the 3rd age. I think he was really expecting a Delhi attack, which just never happened. And look at this. David has just about, I would say, saturated the water. I mean, I don't know what the perfect number of fishing boats is for I don't know if you call it a pond or a lake, but he's continuing to train fishing boats. Let's look at the economy. 94 economic units for David versus the 106 of Wham. And when you're up against China, that's pretty respectable. And you add in the sacred site, I would say eco-wise, are probably in a fairly even position. If not, honestly, David might even be ahead because of the deep water fish. If you look at the income for a minute, you can kind of see what's going on there. Wham is technically ahead. Let's look back at the current resources. Now, David, a lot of res in the bank. Is he going for a wonder? I only say that because he's got 7k food. He's got 5k gold. He's not fighting. Where's his elephants? Where did they go? There they are. Honestly, I feel like this like kind of feels like a little bit of indecision from David, but maybe he's going for a wonder. And what makes me nervous about that is, like, sure, you can grab a wonder, but Wham, you know what China's great at? Having these extremely strong clock tower bombards late in the game, not to mention upgrades to their gunpowder units. Does he have university? I can't show you that tech yet, but they've got extra techs for their gunpowder units, making their bombards the most formidable in the game and great at sniping wonders. But I don't even know if he's going for that. But David has a lot of resources in the bank. Oh, hold on. This wouldn't be a game if I didn't go into elephant cam. Look at it there. David Kim going for the mass elephants. He's had these for a long time. They are beautiful. Look at that. We've got 2 spearmen per war elephant. We've got the 2 crossbows per tower elephant at the moment. And there they are, majestic creatures. Unfortunately, not moving at the moment. They even have a flower on their head. There they are. Now, David building lots of walls. I don't know, guys. What do you think? Is he going for a wonder? That's like the only thing I can imagine right now. A lot of villagers on stone. That has to be what he's doing. But I don't know. I'm way too nervous. Maybe I'm not risky enough to try to do a wonder against China if that is what he's going for. Let's look at the economy. 104 for David versus the 105 for Wham. They are neck and neck. Wham has his own stone walls just on both sides. In fact, he does have stone walls. Yes, he does. But he will need to expand out eventually. Eventually, right? But here we go. We've got a keep controlling that sacred site to the north. Honestly, up to now, David could have taken the sacred site if he wanted to. He just seemed to make no attempt to it, which is really, honestly, strange for a Delhi player. They typically go for it. But here we go. We got elephants going up head-to-head against a keep. Let's see how that keep lasts. when it has elephants sieging it. And David doing the animation cancel. So dirty. And there we go. Look at how much damage that keep takes in a very short period of time. And those elephants are running away. Why? Because the spearmen are on the way. Oh no! 3 elephants were caught and down they go to the spearmen. You know, the keep took a lot of damage, but this was a pretty good fight for Wham, I feel. Man, he has so much res in the bank, 10k food. I mean, if he's going for a wonder, he should be selling food and buying stone. Like, this is just, I don't know. I feel like there's no excuse to float this res. But, I mean, who am I to judge? You know, these are top 50 players. Like, it's not like this is noob gameplay. These are professionals playing this out. And Davis certainly has a plan for all that food. I just don't know what it is at the moment. He's not even pop max at the moment. You see him trying to chop down all these stables. Homeblades have finished. We laugh about it. Yes, it finally did finish. In the rare occasions when the game goes this late, yes, he's finished his Homeblades and he has the man arms, so these will have a lot of additional attack. But no action for right now. We've got David just kind of chilling to the north. We've got the Great Wall of Delhi to the south. He's got like 3 layers of walls. He still has complete control of the water. But despite all that, China's score is currently ahead. And let's see, what is Wham up to? He's training bombards. And this is what I said. Like, you know, how is David going to get up on these bombards? What is going to be a solution when he has so much pop space tied up in elephants? Like, he has a manga now, but really, he has no solution to killing these bombards. And you would think on paper, yes, the man-at-arms will counter the spears. But spears trade remarkably decent against the expensive man-arms, particularly when there's springolds and bombards and nest of bees firing on the backline. The springolds, the only thing they need to do is just gum up the battle. So we'll see if that happens here. We see Wham punching a hole there. Oh my gosh, if he took out that one dock, that would just bring the food eco of David to a halt, despite the fact he has, you know, 20k food in the bank. Not a big deal. Yeah, I heard the sound of some bombards. I think that honestly is the secret to David's unit count right now. He needs to get plenty of bombards, but I think he needs to push. Like, what is he doing? Why is he sitting back? He doesn't appear to have an in-game plan, at least from what I'm seeing here. But here we go. We've got elephants positioning up against the siege of China. But that's not enough. That's certainly not enough. We see that elephant taking a lot of damage. Yeah, I keep watching this. Plenty of villagers getting all this gold here. I feel like David should have like walled this and tried to contest this choke point. Okay, we've got elephants, we got bombards, but you know, that's like what? He has 1 bombard, if I'm not mistaken? 2 bombards. Where's the second bombard? I don't. Oh, it's in there. So it's in here somewhere. 1 bombard. Where the? Where is that second bombard? Oh, it's right there, hiding on the elephants. Okay, here we go. Big battle. We've got elephants. We've got man-arms charging forward. Oh, now these could be really good. Honestly, David's using that forced march ability and running up on the siege. But the problem, those siege have extra HP than typical siege units, and there are villagers nearby. And why is that a problem? Villagers are excellent at healing siege. So we'll see if Wham does this. But look at this. Man-arms getting wiped out by those nests of bees, plus the keep. And now without any infantry, what's going to keep these siege units in check? And I told you, the only thing the spearmen need to do is gum up the battle. And that's exactly what they did. Oh boy. Excuse me. We have those spearmen rushing up. The elephants don't want to be fighting against the spearmen, and just a huge backline of siege right now. How do you stop this if you're in David's position? I feel like you need to have just an overwhelming mass of siege units, or now he has 1, 2, 3. He has 4 bombards. This could possibly get the job done if done correctly, but we'll see here. Yes, Clock Tower Spring Bombard can really tank a shot. they can just survive extra damage. But here comes this man-at-arms. He was able to take out the spearman, and now the man-at-arms. Let's see how much damage these man-at-arms are going to do. Okay, so you would think here we have 8 man-at-arms up against Siege, but look, the Siege turns around and instantly annihilates that man-at-arm mass, and look, Siege is completely fine. So that was a rather expensive trade right there for David. Wonder being built, question mark. Yes, we do have a wonder being built. The Great Palace of Agra will be completed here soon. Is Wham building a wonder of his own? Sometimes you see that happen. No wonder coming out from Wham. So David will have the wonder, but the question will be, can he take out the Siege army? An almost purely Siege army with nothing but spearmen on the front line right now. Here we go. A huge, massive man-at-arms running forward with those forced march ability. But let's see what they're able to do. Down go immediately. It's sprinkled. I mean, look at that. 1, 2, 3 Siege unit. That was a great pop for David Kim. But the elephant's taking a lot of damage on the front line. And I think at the end of the day, the Siege units still will survive. He's taken out a few. Let's see here. There's one left. So he lost a significant number of Siege units. And look at this. You see the villagers like almost instantly healing up those bombards. China just so quickly heals up Siege units. Those elephants trying to do something, but against all that spearmen, they can't do much. Man, and this is the problem, is like, how do you deal with the late game Chinese siege? This is the true question about this matchup. We've got elephants, but the spearmen are so effective at countering them, and the bombards can easily target these, you know, large targets here. Man, look at this. Almost I mean, literally an only siege army right now, just wiping out elephants and infantry. Now that wonder has been built, let's look at that. David will win the game in approximately 14 minutes. So at about the 45-minute mark would say that David Kim is the winner. So the clock is ticking for Wham. He has to do something here. Honestly, I feel like I called early on that David was going for the wonder, but I feel like he should have sold his food. He's been floating so much food. He could have built that wonder way sooner. I mean, I would consider 5 to 10 minutes sooner, quite possibly. But we'll see if that matters. We'll see if he's able to win the game. If not, you know, ask yourselves, should he trade up his res to get that wonder down sooner to get for that stone? Oh my! Oh no! And this is a big problem with the Chinese, the Fire Lancers. Oh gosh! In come the Fire Lancers for Wham, and David's got all these siege units, but they're gonna get just. Oh no! Oh no! Oh man, you know at heart I'm rooting for David here, right? I'm a Delhi main, and these Fire Lancers just annihilated everything that David had. Oh man, thoughts and prayers for David's army there. Holy cow. And Wham still has bombards on the back line. Those Fire Lancers just cleaning up everything that David had on the front line. Not to mention, I mean, I'm not sure that spearmen really do much in this situation, but spearmen are supposed to technically brace against cavalry, but for Delhi, they are bugged, and it takes even that ability away from them. Oh no, here come the Fire Lancers. But David, being very smart, he built a wall around his wonder, so those Fire Lancers will not be able to take out the wonder yet, but they can start working the landmarks. Let's see if he does that. Is he going to animation cancel? I'm not seeing an animation cancel yet from... Oh, maybe he did. Holy... I don't know if that was an animation cancel or just like the OP-edness of Fire Lancers. Down goes one landmark there of David, and down goes a bombard. These Fire Lancers are just shredding everything they come in contact with. Down goes the capital of David, and this, honestly, if he can't deal with these Fire Lancers, he could lose every one of his landmarks. And they are so close. Look, these are his last 2 landmarks. Okay, so he may have done a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough yet. The war elephants, their specialty is encountering enemy cavalry units, in fact. So they're good against other cavalry units. It's just a matter of, like, you know, can you kill the fire lancers fast enough typically, or get into position, because they're slow. Let's look at that wonder countdown. About 11 minutes left, so that's a long time. In Age of Empires 4, 11 minutes, that's a long time to wait. All that stands between him and the enemy is a palisade wall. You know, think about all that food he was floating before. That food is gone. And why is that food gone? Well, we see exactly why. He has lost his dock, but David reacted. He built a dock on the opposite side, so his food is coming in. But he spent, these things cost 600 food, 400 gold. He spent a ton of food on these elephants. Now she's choosing not to repair his capital at the moment, which is kind of curious. He could easily repair this. I'm a little nervous that somehow there's like another Fire Lancer run could come. We're going to keep the Wonder tab up for now. We kind of know where the enemy, both players' eco sits. I'm not sure if pure elephants is going to be enough to get the job done when it comes to spearmen. Like, look at this. Are these elephants even fighting? Like, it looks like almost like they're just all stunned. They're just blocking the entrance at the moment. Man-arms standing on the back line. I saw someone in chat mention no fishing dock tech. Well, it takes 6 minutes to get, so you need basically a dock dedicated to getting that fishing tech, and he's been spending all of his time actually training those fishing boats. Now, David's doing the job. All he has to do is stall, and he's got another 9 minutes and 20 seconds. But, I mean, to be honest, you can stall all you want, but it only takes a matter of 30 seconds to a minute for a bombard push to go through here. So this game is far from over, but this is certainly going to be a wonder race as it stands. Of course, the eco of China completely untouched, so it's just all comes down to military prowess at the moment. I feel like David's going to need to mix something else in here. I would say some mangonel, but look at this. China's eco is starting to get so strong that he is just training multiple bombards at once. Look at this. Let's see. He has 8 bombards on the field right now. And you know what bombards are great at sniping? Elephants. They deal out 204 damage per shot to those elephants, and then an additional 340 versus buildings. And look at that, those cloud of smoke. That's a lot of bombard shots, and these elephants are dying. Not to mention the spearmen just alone are great options for countering those elephants. So, oh my gosh, I am really nervous for David right now. Will his elephant army be able to hold on against the bombard onslaught? Look at all the smoke. Oh boy, I think Wham is breaking through, and if he can break through, he'll have no problem. Honestly, you know what? He doesn't even need to get to that landmark. This landmark has 5k HP. I don't know if you can actually see this, but I mean, yes, these have 5k HP, but he can just easily just take out all of the landmarks of David before even worrying about getting to that wonder if he wants to. But he needs to break through this front line. David is holding on, but not for long. Oh my gosh. You know, and this is where I asked you the question. You know, I said it earlier, like, imagine if David had traded for that wonder, say 5 minutes sooner, which I feel like he could have easily have done. You see him right now losing lots of villagers. He's down almost half the villager count right now. So, I mean, he is quite literally hanging out. Imagine how that 5 minute difference could have made right now. This would be, 2 minutes left on his victory. It could have been enough to buy him the time he needed. But now, maybe he wouldn't have the res to even last as long, but I don't know. Honestly, I feel like he's overinvested in elephants. I feel like archers and counter siege would have been maybe the better option. Right? Because this has been nothing but spearmen, nothing but palace guard. I mean, a good handful of crossbows. I mean, imagine if he had spent the equivalent that he spent on these war elephants on crossbow. I mean, they would be really I mean, crossbows aren't amazing against spearmen, but in a large mass they'll do just fine, especially with a mangonel behind them. And here come those bombards. I mean, this is what we talked about. Oh no, if you're a Delhi main, close your eyes. We've got 6 bombards closing in. He's going to try to wallow them, but that does not work on siege units. I don't think he knows. Oh no, that will not capture those units. David, you're a pro player, but you've got to know that. I'm ranked like 2,000 or so right now, and I know that is not enough to kill a landmark, and I think he's realized. Did he delete his wonder, or did he... I don't think it just crumbles when you resign, does it? Because he didn't get through the wall. Oh, no. Poor David maybe didn't realize how that Wololo worked. He could have done it possibly on the enemy spearmen, but there you have it. Wham, taking the victory. China over Delhi in an almost 45-minute long game. Wow, wow, wow. If you enjoyed that casted game, guys, make sure you subscribe. Trying to hit 10K subscribers here in 2022, so help me out and leave a comment as always. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.